I think this is a good play. So we had those that was the petty grievances for the week. I mean, we're starting off strong here. We spent about like 45 minutes now just catching up on some of the bants and then getting into the first bit. But now all right, we can go ahead, move on a little bit here. One of the first things, this is a small thing, but it's not. I mean, small thing. It kind of sets us up again for some more bants if we want. But there was one little bit of news that kind of like flew under the radar. But it's that Fragadelphia is going down. And I just wanted to touch on this, but Evil Genius is like, what I wanted to get your thoughts on this, because like, am I thinking that there's a conflict of interest here when you send two teams that you own to the same tournament? Because it's just like, I don't know, that feels a little bit weird if you literally have like they're two teams, all things equal, right? And they're going to compete in the same tournament. I mean, are you not thinking like if they run into each other in the tournament, how's that going to play out? Is that going to be weird? Does one team just throw in the towel? Is it prearranged that like one team, in jiu-jitsu, they call it a closeout, where they just, they won't even have the match. They'll just, they both kind of like.
That used to happen actually occasionally in Korean StarCraft. Sometimes if three Koreans went to an event and this is how they would do it, because they were doing it on purpose strategically in that case. Either they're in the same team and they think he's the star of the team, so they let him have the win and just don't even play the match. You give him the walkover. Or the other one was if they just felt threatened that a foreigner would win the tournament, like Stefano's going off, they would sometimes for real be like, look, out of the two of us, like you're actually the better matchup against him, so I'll let you win or just have the walkover because Korea has to win. Like, it doesn't matter whether I win, I want Korea to win over the foreigner. So sometimes they would do that. Now, the reason I bring this up is it's actually mainly from Korean esports and Chinese esports, but behind the scenes, not a lot of this has come out in public. There have been tons of cases like this, Semmler, where directly teams either like used the org like that. This is the better team, so let them win the match so they can go to the final. So kind of like, by the way, like Formula One, the classic one where this used to happen, like fucking, I can't remember his name, Barrichello or whatever. That guy used to have to like slow down to let Schumacher win the race. Like, so he's like, I need the construction points. Like, yeah, they would do that. That's a real thing. So that, as you're saying, that's not like it's never happened in history. That's the thing that could happen. And spoiler, I sort of got in trouble for this because people translated it and told Koreans about it. But basically, statute of limitations has passed now. This is from 2014. You won't believe this, Semmler. I could go and one day I will do a video about this. I'll have to say I allege or I speculate or I think. But just look at it. I think that in the spring season of OGN, the League of Legends top tournament in Korea in 2014, that the world champions, SK Telecom with Faker, intentionally had their sister team throw a game to them so that they could go through to the playoffs. Now, the reason I say this is because the order of the group went like this, Semmler. It was like the underdog, their sister team had won like 2 games or whatever. It was like in the position where they could get out the group as well, right? But they didn't have to win the last game. But then the problem is the world champions, SKT, weren't good at the time. They'd fallen off. And they lost to an underdog team, a nobody. So the only way they could make the playoffs is if they then beat their sister team. Now that's fine because normally they were better, but at the time they weren't. And magically the sister team just lost in the most ridiculous fashion I've ever seen. And like the exact like 2-0, whatever you needed to get out. Almost like someone just said, like, the fix is in. You know which way your bread's buttered. Come on. Exactly. And it's like you got some legit results at the beginning. At the end, I'm like, so the reason I bring this up is, guys, if the world champions in League of Legends in Korea will do that, what is someone going to do in a dog shit org like EG that can't get a win anywhere and they're in some local like tier 4 tournament now? Because by the way, there's not even a question, Semmler. It is a direct conflict of interest to even play in the tournament. You're mistaking it. You're being too fair. You're thinking, what if they play each other? Fuck that. What if one of them has to lose to get the other one out? What if one has into someone else? Think about that. What if we're both in like a group scenario and I need one more win and so you lose, so it's like tied? You know, you can do that. Secondly, you could have scenarios. Oh, there's a million things you could do. Exactly. Also, if I'm in a scenario where I won like 3 games in a 4-game group stage, and then I know that if I finish first, me and you do play in the quarters, and maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want both EG squads to go forward. So I intentionally come second in the group, so we go on the opposite sides of the bracket. You can see there's a million ways this could be fucked. So I can't even believe this tournament is happening. Because here's the thing, that Korean example I gave earlier, there's nothing I can do about that. That's Korea and Korean culture. And their logic would be, Semmler, it's fucked up. But their logic, because they're an honor-based culture where it's all about your public face, they would actually, this is why I got in trouble, they would be like, how dare you suggest we would ever even cheat? And it's like, sorry Koreans, I do believe Koreans can lie and cheat, you fucking idiot. That doesn't mean all of you do, but I think it's possible. It's like when people go, believe women, it's like, you cretin, you think a woman can't lie ever, you fucking moron. So same scenario, I don't care. They absolutely might not do anything. They might just go to the tournament and play. I'm sure these squads, by the way, haven't thought about this at all. They're all just going, oh, cool, we both get to go to the tournament. But the problem is, when you even allow the possibility, it's going to create scenarios where people will abuse that. People will use loopholes. People will fuck around. So it shouldn't happen. Essentially, the rule should be, for any like professional level, that's the key thing. You do for amateur tournaments, whatever. For professional level tournaments, you should only be allowed one team per org. That's it. What's the problem with that? It's why basically the whole EG thing for CSGO is a joke anyway. Now you have 3 teams. Well, how does that work? You know, it's not like you even split them up properly. They're essentially all in the same pool. And the joke is the main team's so bad, they're coming down to the level where the other fucker... Like the party astronauts one dude is slightly better than the main team. So now you are both in the same tier, you idiots. That you've made a direct conflict of interest.
Like all 3 of your teams are going to go to all the tournaments at the same time. Is this how it's supposed to work out in your mind?
Sort of, right? Because here's the thing.
Like it. I mean, if they think that they can send 2 of their teams to Fragadelphia at the same time, like
the only teams that could do this, in my opinion, are actually the biggest teams. Like if you're FaZe and Na'Vi, you only go to the tier 1, top of tier 1 anyway, and you never get knocked out. So like you could have your guy playing tier 3, and he's never going to meet you in a tournament. You're not playing that same competition. But you can't be doing this where you're all in the same mix, so you just go to the same tournaments. Yeah, that's fuckery, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I just keep an eye on it. We'll see how this Fragadelphia plays out. Obviously, it's just something worth mentioning because evil geniuses really do make you wonder.
Also, I'll just say it like this. At least when like Astralis or Nip fuck around and get all corrupt, they're trying to win a major. EG's so bad now, they're trying to like fucking fuck around and win Fragadelphia. Like, what the fuck is this? I know.
Yeah, I know.
That is like you're about 5 minutes away from like, I suck your dick for pound now. It's like, fucking hell. How decrepit and wretched are you right now? They're basically like fucking that. You might not know the reference, Sammy, but there was a basketball player back in the day called Delonte West, and he actually played on like the Cavs with LeBron, but the problem is there was this rumor that he'd fucked LeBron's mom. And essentially I speculate it's possible it could be true, because essentially like when this came out publicly, it was in the middle of a playoff series, and LeBron like got in a huff and just played bad for the rest of the series, then left the Cavaliers organization. So part of me thinks, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, he didn't exactly do a good job walking it off. So basically that guy though was only good because he was on LeBron's team. Then later on, I'm not joking, he had one of those crazy falls from fame where he wasn't just like a bad pro. He's literally homeless. And the last few years have just been people finding him on the street in like LA or whatever and just filming videos of him just like high on lean or some shit, you know. Like, it's really depressing. It's like one of those ones like, Jesus. That's like what EG is now. You'll walk past like, oh yeah, they're $5. Yeah, hope you get better, sir. Like, thank you. I hope you remember 2019 when we won Starladder. Like, is that you, evil genius? What the bro, fuck, you're looking bad. You're looking, ooh. And then that fucking Nicole Lapointe comes in like, but we have taken the L, learnings, we've learned, and we are going to apply our synergistic team-based family approach to becoming the progressive, new, diverse and inclusive team that's going to make this game a thing of beauty. You know, like, what are you talking about? I know, get out my brain. Stop trying to like mentally break me in a like side war or something with your fucking, these aren't even words. They're just like fucking like, they're like fucking stealth bombs just supposed to go in my brain and detonate with like concepts that don't even make sense.
The chairman approves of her speech. Don't worry. She's definitely going to move up in the party structure.
What's that? Why did you stop clapping for Nicole Lapointe's speech, comrade? You did not like her comments about diversity?
The evil geniuses for 10,000 years.
And also, spoiler, the name of the org's evil geniuses.
I mean, come on.
Just call it evil dickheads at this point in time. You're not geniuses, are you? You're fucking garbage. You can't play Game of Thrones at all. You're getting bodied all over the fucking place, aren't you? You all think you're Littlefinger. You're not. It's fucking garbage, mate.
All right, next up on the news. I mean, we
got that one.
We can only talk about it so much.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.